Commanders family, it's the bye week, but we still got next man up for y'all. Johnny Newton, Jermander, pulls up to the studio to talk about his bye week and what his rookie season has been like so far. Then we're bringing it back. We're bringing in a Washington legend. Chris Baker joins the show to talk about how he's recovered from his stroke and how he's trying to move forward in his life. All that and more right now on Next Man Up. Two, three. Commanders family, for our next man up, we have somebody extremely special. I've been very excited to talk to this cat again because I haven't talked to him since he was drafted and signed that contract. Welcoming in Jermander, Johnny Newton to the building. What's up, brother?
I'm doing good. Appreciate it for having me.
Man,
I'll bring it in.
Hey, man, I'm happy to be
yes,
with
sir.
you, dog. Man,
I'm feeling good.
It's always good vibes talking to you, man. And it's crazy to think last time we sat and spoke, you had just got in the building. Yeah, I don't think you really even knew what to expect. We didn't even know that you were struggling with an injury at that time or nothing. We had no clue what was going on, man, and now we're here. So first things first, man, how has it been, man, your rookie year?
It's been great. Met a lot of brothers on this football team, you know. Great coaching staff. Everybody bring that energy every single day. And it's been great through the highs and lows, you know. A lot of brothers. It's just been a great feeling, you know. When the team bring that energy every single day, it's just like, it's fun coming to work.
Has anything surprised you so far about the NFL, the speed, the pace, the work it takes? Has anything surprised you?
Yeah, for sure. When I first got in, the speed, of course, like, these grown men out here, so you gotta get adjusted to that speed immediately. But other than that, man, just seeing people that I grew up watching, that's the craziest thing for me, and playing with some legends, really. But realizing that we are human at the end of the day. Like, I grew up watching them boys play, starstruck when I see a lot of people, but we are human at the end of the day, so that's always cool.
And it's been an interesting start for you, man, because again, man, you started with an injury coming in here, and you had to deal with that and find your way back on the field, man. That's not easy to do, especially somebody like you that's just hungry to get out there and compete, man. What was that like, getting back on that field when you started your NFL career?
Yeah, for sure. It was a great feeling, you know. I had the injury too. Well, I had the injury before I got drafted, then the injury after I got drafted. It's really just like my life story, though, you know. I feel like I always got to work, and just had to work for that to get back healthy. I never really had no major injuries, so I just attacked it with that same mentality. And once I got on the field, I came in week 2, so low-key got thrown into that fire. But it was a great feeling, though. This is my dream. So, like I said, I've been working hard for it, working to get to it, and still working to improve myself and be the best.
And you said that you never dealt with anything like that before, man. Was it tough? Was it hard?
Yeah, it was tough. Mentally, like, right when it happened, it hit like, man, like, another setback. It was just like what happened before I got drafted. Before the combine, we found out my right one was broke. I was like, man, like, I watched the combine my whole life, wanted to go out there, run my 40, and then once I got drafted, I'm like, man, like, it's right before camp, OTAs, all this stuff. So, but man, like I said, we got great people in the building. So I came in here every day like, man, I'm finna go practice something. Like, man, let me go kill this little workout real quick, this little rehab. And I was coming here bright and early. Even some days when the team wasn't here, I was still coming here trying to get better, get healthy, and I'm glad I did because look where I'm at now.
Yeah, man. And during that whole process, you talk about the people in the building, Dan Quinn, all these coaching staff, man, they still showed you a lot of love, man. Not a lot of times where, you know, you can't get that rookie on the field immediately. Do you still hear so many great things about his work ethic, about his speed, about his power, and that's the stuff we heard about you. What did that do for you, man, having the coaching staff? These people are new to you. They don't really know you like that, but they trusted you enough to draft you, bring you in here, and then they still hold you to a high regard even though you haven't got to play yet.
Yeah, for sure. It just shows they trusted me, honestly. They saw me rehabbing my treatment. They'll come in there some mornings, 6 a.m. I'll be in there already working out, rehabbing. So they knew that I was hungry, you know. Like I said, I attack the rehab like I attack a practice or a game, like full speed, full throttle. Like, I mean what I do, and I'm passionate about it. So if it was anything to get me back on the field quicker, I was full throttle at it. And it just shows that everybody in the building is like trust and belief in not even that, it's just a character, like upbringing anybody. Like I said, we all one. We all a family in this building. So just installing like that family aspect, I feel like it's real in this building, you know. And I'll give a shout out to Dylan Thompson because he played a big role in all of that and gave us a lot of words of wisdom.
Can you expound on that a little bit? What about Dylan? Like, what made you want to shout him out just now and talk about those words of wisdom?
Yeah, for sure. Just the talks he be giving the team to the rookies, just that installs a lot of confidence in us and cools us down. Definitely as a rookie, you know, like I said, the highs and lows. But at the end of the day, like I could go out there and miss 5 sacks. He'll still give me the biggest hug, and that's from the top to the bottom. Like everybody. When I was at my worst, the Steelers game, that little mistake that I had, he was right there. Like, man, I got you. Shot me a text, man. I got you. You'll be all right. And just like things like that, and it just spreads throughout the building. So that's a guy that like I'm really thankful and grateful for.
Man, and since you mentioned it, let's talk about that Steelers moment because I got to be on the field during it, man. And I got to see how visibly upset you were, man, how much that tore you apart. Just bring us back to that moment, man, and what's going through your head. Because we know as players, right, we know it's not one play that makes a game, right? But I know for you, you took it as that, man. Just bring us back to that moment and what you were going through.
Yeah, I got that champion mindset. So everything I do, like I said, I take personal. Like I just said earlier, I want to be one of the greats to do it, if not the best to ever do it. So every little mistake, I'm like real critical about myself, and that was just a bad moment for me. But I learned from it immediately. Like I rewatched it, like, man, why did I do that? But nah, I was hard on myself. Just showed a lot of emotion, but that's just who I am as a player. Like I care about it. I care about winning, and I'll do anything to help the team win. So in that moment, I was just really upset with myself that I did that. I should have known better, but I definitely learned from it.
And you talk about these ebbs and flows of the NFL season and these lows that you have experienced, the injury, that play, but you're coming into a room, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Mathis. You have guys that were drafted also high, coming from big schools and have also played at a high level. How was that unit and that team helped you get through all this? Because we talked to Mathis last week and he said that he was like, Jonathan Allen was huge in just helping me be mentally ready for when I come back from that injury. Is that the same for you?
Yeah, for sure. We sat right next to each other, so he always tells me, like, man, I can't wait for you to get back. And I'm like, man, he don't even know, like, I've been looking up to John Allen. Like, I was scrolling through my Twitter, like, unfollowing people, just like random people. And I scroll all the way to the bottom to like the people who are like my first followers. And he was like the 10th one.
Wow.
And I had my Twitter account since 2016. So that should tell you how long I've been. Like, John, that's really, when he says something, like it means something to me. Deron too, man. He came right after John, but man, them Bama boys, I don't watch them boys my whole life. So like if you watch football, you played, like no way you damn watch Bama and be like, man, like I want to look like them boys. And those are the boys I grew up watching when we in the same room now. So like for instance, John hurt, but he still be in the building, still giving me wise words, having my back, telling me what to do, what not to do, helping me. And same as Deron, like we on the field together, me and Deron communicating, like do this, do that, do this, do that. He telling me what he see, and it just helps me out so much and makes me comfortable and makes me enjoy the game.
And it's interesting when you say that because Jonathan Allen, a guy like that that's done so much in his career, he don't owe you anything.
Yeah.
He don't even have to come and show up for you, especially because now you're getting a lot of minutes when he's not on the field. What does it mean to you to see a guy like that still be a leader, still show up for his team, even though he's going through such a tough injury?
Man, that's just, I don't even know how to explain it. That's my big brother. My big brother was Big's brother.
Yeah.
That's my big brother for sure, though, man. But that just shows you how great of a person he is. Like, outside of football, outside of all of the achievements that he's had, like, he's just a great guy overall. Like, putting people before himself all the time. Like, no matter what instance, like, he'll always have our back. I feel like I could call John at any time, any advice for anything, and he'll just talk to me about it. Like, he's just like a person you could just go and talk to, and he'll listen, and great life advice, man. He done been there, done it. So, like I said, that's my big brother, and I'm with a ride or die.
And Fedarian said something very interesting, and he was like, you know, the injury almost ended up having a positive to it as well because it brought y'all even closer together because y'all want to win for him. Y'all want to dominate for J.A. Can you talk about that a little bit and what that means to just go out there and put on for him since he can't?
Yeah, for sure. I texted him right when it happened. I was like, man, like, it hurt me. Like, because I know how I was when I was like, man, I know I want to get on that field. And we share that same mentality. Like, man, I can still play hurt. So I know how he felt. But, man, it hurt me to even think about, like, when he told us he was going to get surgery. But I know he a warrior, though, so I knew he was going to do whatever to get back on the field. I mean, he still is doing everything in his power to get back on the field. And it just shows me, like, that grit he has, the love for the game. And I love that because I love the game, man. That's my life. I'm passionate about it. And I always go out there to represent my brothers, the name on the front and the name on the back. So every chance I get, I'm going to put on for him.
And it's wild the timing because it seems as if once he left, it was when you were really starting to come back. And now, thankfully, we have you here to be able to fill in and make up for those minutes. How do you make the most of this opportunity you're getting now? Because J.A.'s healthy and Deron Payne. Like, I mean, you're going to be playing a much different role. You're more of a rotational player, but now you're getting really great minutes, man. How are you making the most of this right now while you have that chance?
Yeah, for sure. Just going out there, playing fast and physical, trying to dominate whoever in front of me. Just getting used to the game, more comfortable with the game, more comfortable with formations, block recognitions, and just learning the game as I go. You know, I don't I always say, I don't like being considered a rookie, but like I'm still learning everything, and I feel like, I mean, you always learning, but I'm picking up stuff faster, recognizing stuff faster, and just getting more comfortable with the game. Like I see some of the vets, they know stuff before even snap happened, and I'm like, man, I'm still working towards that. So just getting more comfortable with the game, and like I said, whenever I go out there, I'm doing everything I can to help the team win. So that's trying to dominate the man in front of me.
I don't know if there's a better place to be when you talk about learning than this place. Daryl Tapp, Sharif Floyd, RK. Talk about energy, man. Those guys have not only played at a high level, but now they are coaching at a high level. Talk about them and how they've helped you acclimate to the NFL.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, coaching at a high level, they bring that energy every day. Man, we break it down every single day. And good or bad, Tapp go come in there with great energy, and it just, like, flows throughout the room. Like, I feel like our D-line room so close, man. Probably, like, the closest room I done been in my whole life. Just how we interact in the room, do stuff off the field, going out with each other, like we real life, like first cousins. They ain't
like
there.
family, yeah.
Like how close we done been, and that just come from the higher up. That's how Reef, Ryan, and Tapp is with each other. Like I said, we all working to be great. So that's being the greatest D-line in the NFL. So that's what we're working towards every single day.
Have you experienced a brotherhood like this before?
Man, at Illinois, we was all about family, you know, and it was like everybody was real close. But I feel like here, like it's like every day is like going out to a cookout with your family. That's how I feel, you know. You got them uncles that's gonna bring that energy, dancing
like
around.
that.
That's the coaches. The little kids out there playing football. That's us. So that's how I feel every single day. Just like a great time.
Hey, Johnny, man, I'm so glad you're having a great time, man. It's been so great watching you progress through this rookie year, man. I know you're going to only do great things. And before I let you go, man, we got the bye week. Bye week's here, man. How are you feeling, man? Are you like, yes, the bye week's here, man? Because this is a very late bye week for NFL.
Yeah. Man, I like playing football. Like, I'm still young. I could get groovy, man. So I like bacon, egg, and cheese and people. So I mean, the bye week, yeah, it's going to feel good for our bodies, but I can't wait to get back to playing football. But the bye week definitely needed. You know, everybody needs a break sometime in their life. And our bye week next week, so it'll feel great to, you know, just chill, relax, be with the family. But can't wait to bacon, egg, and cheese somebody.
Yes, sir, man. It's all about the bacon, egg, and cheese. We love that, Johnny. Thank you so much for your time, brother.
Sure.
We appreciate you, man. Enjoy your bye week, man. Get some much needed rest because you deserve it, man. Commanders family, our next man up, Jermander, Johnny Newton, Mr. Bacon, Egg, and Cheese. Commanders family, for our next man up, we have a very, very special Washington legend joining us, man. I'm just so happy this brother gets to be here and even just talk to us and is healthy to be here with us, man. Let me shout out our defensive lineman, Chris Baker, brother. How you doing, Chris?
I'm great, bro. I'm great.
Yes, sir, man. It's even hard to even do that intro, man, because I know how much you've been through. And for me, I've had family members that have suffered a stroke and have dealt with that. And I know that there's not always coming back from that. So to just talk to you, man, and see you looking good and healthy and strong, man, it just makes me really happy, man. Welcome on the show, brother.
Man, I appreciate it, man. It's been a real blessing. You know, I'm here for a reason. What reason, I don't know, but God has helped me figure that out. But, you know, I had a stroke, and it was like I walked out of there like nothing happened. And it's like, when you go to church, they always have this old saying, thank God I don't look like what I've been through. So I just thank God he's been, you know, keeping his hands on me and allowing me to continue my life as normal as possible.
Amen. And that's a great perspective to have because, again, you are here for a reason. Not everybody makes it from that and is able to walk away from that. So the fact that you did, man, it's a huge blessing. And it's also a sign that, you know, you are supposed to be here and meant to be here. So we thank you so much for taking that time. So let's really dive into that because, again, I know I have family members that have suffered from that. And I know people all around the world have had that issue with family members or themselves as well. So do you know what caused the stroke initially? Do you know what happened? Because it happened back in 2023, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It could have been stress. It could have been COVID related. I'm not sure.
And a lot of people, when they have
stroke, weird because I was 35 years old and I had a stroke, and I'm like, what? I'm still trying to figure out if I really want to retire, if I might want to come back and give it a shot. So it's like, what do you mean I'm having a stroke?
That's wild, man. Because I mean, a lot of people, like from a stroke, you might you lose the way you talk or the way you move or like motor functions. Did anything change for you after that stroke?
No, it was crazy because when I had the stroke, I was so alert to the point when I came back to, and I was really moving around, and they're trying to like put these belts on me to help me with balance. But I'm like, yo, I'm a football player. I'm good. Leave me alone. I'm not an 80-year-old man. But they had to follow hospital procedure. But it was like a couple of days after I had the stroke and I was moving around, I really never lost consciousness, you know what I mean? So I always felt like I was good. I'm like, am I checking out so I could go help my dad plow snow? Because we have a landscaping company here in Connecticut. So I'm feeling that normal. They're like, yo, you're gonna be here for a while. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I'm thinking I'm about to leave to go plow snow, and that's how normal I felt.
Wow. So you really didn't, that's actually really crazy to me. But again, a blessing that you were able to walk away from that. When something like that happens, and we're going to get into your whole career, right? But when something like that happens, how does that affect your life to this day? I'm sure it probably changed your perspective on everything.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, you go from being what you feel like is super healthy to overnight having a stroke and just trying to recover. You know, it puts things into perspective, but I just thank God nothing really happened to me where it really put me down. I was still the normal Chris. I just had a stroke.
What were you doing when it happened?
I was just sitting at the house, just chilling. And then I slipped and fell, and I couldn't figure out how I fell. But after I replayed everything, I had this stroke, and my left side probably went numb. So when I went to go take a step, I just fell. I couldn't figure out how I just fell. But now that I know I had a stroke, when I tried to take a step, when I went to go step on my left side, my foot just gave out. So I fell on the ground. And so I'm just laying there, and no one was home. And I was staying with my friend at the time. She comes home from being out with her friends, and I'm just sitting on the couch looking for help because my phone was on the left side. It was on my left side. So she's calling me from being out with her friend. She calls me 3 times, and I don't answer. So she wound up just coming home. When she comes home, I'm laying on the ground. I'm like, yo, I got to pee. Can you help me get up and pee? Now, mind you, I'm probably like 3'10", 315 at the time. And I'm like, help me get up. And she's trying to help me get off the ground so I can go pee. But obviously, I'm dead weight at that time. So I'm not budging. So she's like, well, I'm about to call 911. I'm cussing her out. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, I'm straight. Just help me get up and pee. And then when she called the ambulance with 911, they said, tell him to look at you and smile. And when I smiled, my left side of the face wasn't moving. It was like, yo, he's having a stroke. But I'm talking to her like everything is normal. I'm like, bro, I just got to pee.
What? How long were you laying there before she got there?
Like 30 to 40 minutes. I was just chilling. I'm not thinking nothing's wrong. Even as I'm having this or the stroke is going on, I still don't think nothing's wrong. I'm like, yo, I got to pee.
That's all you could think about. So even though you're laying on the ground, you could feel that you can't move your body. Is it registering?
I didn't know what to think, because my left side was numb, And then I was trying to like get up off the ground, but I could not move on my left side. But I couldn't figure out like what is wrong. I was like, I don't know what's wrong, but something's wrong, but I don't know what's wrong. I'm like, how did I fall and why can't I get up? I couldn't figure out why I couldn't like wiggle to the left side or wiggle to the right side and just get all the way up. But my whole left side must have went numb. But I didn't know. I'm just thinking I slept wrong or took a nap wrong and my fucking arms just sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the fire people came. I remember everything. They came and got me up, and all I kept saying was, "Yo, can you put me down so I can pee?"
That boy had to go to bathroom bad.
Then we get into the ambulance, and they're asking questions about my date of birth and name and address and all this stuff. So my friend at the time, Shakari, she was giving all the information. She said, "He's 34." I'm like, no, I'm 35. Like, I was that conscious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, I went to the hospital and they knocked me out and then went through my groin and cut the stroke out my brain, and I was bad too.
Wow, man. Well, thank goodness she was able to come and you weren't laying there any longer. It's wild to think about the things that go through our heads during travesty. So I'm sure your friend seeing you was probably freaking out and realized how big a deal it was. But you being in it, being this big, strong man, you probably are just like, man, I'm fine. Like, I'll be able to shake this off. So thank you for sharing with that.
But it was like a lot of people who have strokes, you could tell that they had a stroke. But with me, I would have to tell you I had a stroke in order for you to know I had a stroke.
Well, for sure, because even just talking to you right now, the way you're talking, everything seems very normal. And again, I have, family members who have dealt with strokes and they were never the same again, the way it impacted them, man. So again, a huge blessing. Thank you for sharing that, because I think that's something I know fans wondered, when you hear news like that and you hear one of your favorite players goes through something like that.
It's so much of a deeper conversation, but I don't even want to get really emotional about it because,
It's okay, man. That's what this is about, man. You gotta be able to get that stuff out because it's a traumatic thing you went through, man. And I think it's important to talk about.
It's hard, bro. That's hard, bro. It's like, how do I go from being an NFL athlete, a good dad, to being a stroke patient? You know what I mean? That's difficult,
For sure,
but
man.
thank God I've been able to really recover and not really get into the slumps of really having a stroke, But at the same time, I still had health issues to do. Like, outside of the stroke, I had got, not to put all my business on there, but I had got diagnosed with congestive heart failure. So that on top of the stroke, it was like, what's going on? Like, how am I an NFL player and I'm going through all these health issues? I thought retirement was supposed to be fun. And since I retired, I've been sick, so it's been rough. On top of that, you're trying to be a dad, and then you have health issues, so it just complicates everything. It's like everything's hit me like back to back to back. So it's been rough in the last couple of years.
Chris, man, I appreciate you sharing that, and just know, man, no matter what sicknesses you've been through, the things you're going through, those things don't change. You're still an NFL player. You're still an NFL legend. You're still beloved by everybody that rocks that burgundy and gold. And you're still a father. You're still loved by your kids. You're still loved by your family. And you're needed and appreciated by so many people. So I hope you remember that, man, that even though you're going through these hard times and these ebbs and flows of life, just know it doesn't change the man that you are. And again, you said it to start this. There's a reason you made it through. Because we could be talking about you and not with you. You know what I mean? So like the fact that we're even talking to you right now and you're able to have this testimony and you're able to cry and wipe the tears out your eyes, that alone is a blessing. And just remember, man, like it doesn't change who you are. You are still an NFL player. And that's why, you know what I'm saying, you're able to have these conversations with us. You still got that Letterman jacket on, not because you bought it, because you earned it. You know what I mean? And nothing can change that, brother. So I just want you to know that.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir, man. And so thank you for
I'm coming back home to Washington, man. That's home for me, man.
Yeah,
the
man.
love I get there, I can't explain to other people. You just got to be there and be with me to understand the true love that the Washington fans give me and what I have for them.
And that's why talking to y'all is so important. Why I've loved this season of Next Man Up is because I've gotten to really talk to the legends and sit and hear from you guys. And all y'all have said the same things. Even though you're from Connecticut, all these other legends are from different places. This ends up becoming home. And it's because of the way the fan base loves you guys and rides for y'all and supports for y'all. So let's get into some football, man. Let's start in the beginning because you had an interesting journey before you got to the burgundy and gold. You were on a couple teams and it didn't really work. You didn't actually see the field, but then you get to the burgundy and gold and you find find a home. Talk to us about that part. Those first few years in the NFL when you're trying to figure it out and, make a name for yourself in this league.
Well, I was an undrafted free agent, so I always felt like that stacked up against me because I was looking at guys who were drafted in the first round, second round, third round, getting all these chances, but I couldn't figure out, why am I not getting a chance? I know I'm better than them. If you put me on film, you put my film against their film, we're doing good. I'm doing just as good as them, but they're first rounders, so they're going to get a shot. But me, I never got a shot. So I was just a guy that always made the team. They never played me. So like my rookie year, I was an undrafted free agent in Denver. I was on an active roster the whole year, but I only played in one game. And then I get released the next year. I go to Miami, and pretty much the same situation. I'm undrafted. I make the team on practice squad. Then I make the team. Then I play in one game. Then the NFL lockout happens, and I have surgery. And while I'm recovering from my surgery, I happen to be watching the preseason game. And that's when Washington was playing Baltimore in the preseason, and Jarvis Jenkins had just got hurt. So I called my agent like, hey, Jarvis just hurt. Defensive lineman from Washington just got hurt. So he called Washington, and I was there in the morning for a workout. When I worked out for the team in Washington, that was my first time working out on grass from when I had my first scope surgery. So I went there on a humbug, like, Lord, just let me make it through this workout, please. And I made it through the workout without my knee swelling or anything, any complications. So it was great. I made the practice squad, but I knew for myself, practice squad wasn't for me. I'm Chris Baker. I'm somebody. I feel like I can make this roster. Just give me a chance, and I'm gonna take it from there. So I was working every week, just kicking those guys' butt in practice. And me, I didn't understand because I was a young guy who's never played through a season. So I didn't understand what your body actually go through as an NFL veteran. So as a young guy who hasn't played, I'm juiced up, ready to kick ass in practice. And guys who played 6, 7, 8 years, they're like, bro, chill out. I just played the game a couple of days ago. But I'm trying to play, so I didn't care. Like, the only way I'm going to be able to feel like you or be able to play is if these coaches see me in practice. So I had to be a dog in practice. And that's what people don't understand is the game is played in practice. Once you do it in practice, the game becomes second nature. But if you practice the right way, the game becomes easy. But you have to learn it as a professional.
And when you're going through this time, right, because, again, you're undrafted, so there's nothing promised at all to somebody like you coming onto these teams, right? You're going
here today, gone tomorrow.
Here today and gone tomorrow. What they say, the NFL is for not for long, especially for undrafted guys.
Who came in for the week and then was out, then came back and then was gone. It's like some guys been on 6 teams in 1 year. It's like, bro, how? And I was always fortunate enough to get on the team and lock in. It's like they always kept me. I found a way to stick. And then I finally get an opportunity. I'm in Shanahan's office every week, like, Coach, am I doing enough to get activated? Am I doing enough? Am I doing enough? To the point where my defensive line coach at the time was Jacob Birdie. He said, Baker, leave Shanahan alone. He watches everything in practice. Once he's ready to put you in, he's going to put you in, but leave him alone because you're going to piss him off. And once you get in his doghouse, there's no getting out. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, I'm not going to say to him. I'm going to leave him alone, let my practice film speak for itself. So I continue to come to work every day, just working my butt off. And I finally get an opportunity against the Patriots. And I'm from Connecticut, so I done made a big Facebook post. I'm super happy. And at the time, we didn't have a bubble. So when it rained and we had excellent weather, we'd go to the gym. So we go to the gym, and Marcus White is over there doing windmills and 360 dunks. So I was a basketball player my whole life. So I'm like, man, let me show them I can still jump. I go to try and jump. I tear my quad. This is the day after I got activated. So I'm panicking. I'm an undrafted free agent. I finally got activated to the roster. I tear my quad the next day. But then I'm nervous because I technically hurt myself not playing football. Right, but it was before practice, technically. So I'm like, yo, are they going to cut me? Are they going to not give me no money? Like, what's going to happen? So some of the other guys are laughing because it was funny because I hurt myself jumping. But to me, I'm like, bro, shut the hell up, bro. I hurt myself preparing for practice. I didn't hurt myself trying to dunk a basketball. I was nervous, bro. But once I got hurt and I recovered, that next year in camp, I never looked back. I was battling with Chris Neal for the backup position for Barry Cofield, but he wound up tearing his ACL. But that year, I finally got a shot to play, and nobody was taking my position from that point on. And that's what happened.
To even get to that point, from everything you're talking about you're dealing with, man, the mental fortitude it takes to just keep going. Because there had to have been times during that time when you were like, man, should I just call it quits? Should I just not do this no more?
I quit because outside of being in college, that was my first time not being the guy. I've been the guy my whole life until I went to Penn State. And that was the first time someone was able to dominate me. I've been the dominant person my whole life. And so to get into the league where I feel like, yo, I'm nice. I can do this. And to not play, I'm like, bro, I'm not no scrub. How am I not playing? But then every time I would get a shot to play, they were like, yo, this kid Baker is pretty nice. So I'm like, well, keep me in the goddamn game.
Was it hard not to quit on yourself during that time, man?
Nah, I always believed in myself. I just knew I needed a shot. I always just say, as soon as they let me play, I'll be okay. And every time they kept letting me play more and more and more, it was like, yo, we got to leave this kid in there.
Where does that belief in self come from? Especially as such a young guy, man. Where did that belief in self come from?
I had a really good supportive team growing up. Like my parents, they always, was there for me and supported me throughout my whole childhood in sports. And they always, just told me to believe in myself. And I grew up very confident. And where I'm from, it's either you're going to be confident or you're going to be a punk. So I wasn't no punk. So I always like to talk stuff and back my stuff up.
So what was it about being in the burgundy and gold when you finally got here and you got settled? What about being here worked for Chris Baker?
I finally got an opportunity, and then I just had veterans that I could actually learn from. And once I got my shot, I just took it and ran. It was nothing. I didn't do anything different from where I was on other teams. I just finally got a chance to play consistently. And once I got a chance to play, they finally paid me. It was like, yo, we're not going to let this guy go.
And then you get to spend years here, man, pretty much your whole career here with Washington. Man, when you look back on those days, man, and you're playing, man, what are some of the memories that stick out to you the most that are like your favorite when you think about playing for Washington?
One is the fight with Philadelphia. From when
I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, that hit kind of like, if you didn't watch football, you didn't know anything about football, and you didn't know who Chris Baker was, after that hit, you knew who Chris Baker was because they played that as the main story on ESPN for about a month straight. So even if you didn't know anything about football, you just watched Sports Center. You're like, who is Chris Baker? What happened in that fight? I just got my what do you call it? When people notice you or whatever, my notoriety became through the roof after that game. And then that season, I happened to have one of my best seasons that I've ever had in the league. So it just...
Sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need that energy around you. For those of y'all that don't know what he's talking about, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Nick Foles and you broke his jaw? Is that what happened?
Huh?
It was Nick Foles and you broke his jaw. Is that what happened?
I didn't break his jaw. I just hit him hard, and then me and Jason Peters got to fight, and then the whole team started fighting.
Take us back there, man. Tell us what went down from your perspective from start to finish, man. Give us the story.
All right, so I felt like I almost got a sack on that play. So I get up, I see Breland has an interception. I see him returning the ball to me, right? And then I see Nick Foles taking like 3 steps towards him. And from the time we ever started playing football, they always said, get the closest man to you. So when I get off the ground, the closest man to me was Nick Foles. He was attempting to run as if he was about to tackle Breland. If Breland breaks through that tackle, the next person to tackle him is Nick Foles. So he had to go. You know what I mean? And like they always say, even backyard football, the thing is always keep your head on the swivel. he was lacking, and I caught him lacking.
I bet he learned after that.
That's what I said. I said from that point forward, I bet he never ran his ass to another interception. He probably looked and say, "Hey, I hope somebody trip him."
I think that was a message to all quarterbacks around the league. Like, hey, if you gonna get involved in this,
Tom Brady and Peyton Manning do. Rarely do you see them actually chasing. They gonna look to the side and like, "Hey, I'll try next time."
And now fans will ask and be like, why didn't the quarterback do more to get the tackle and all that? That's the reason why, man, because it could be very dangerous for you.
There's somebody like me waiting for him. Come on over there if you want to.
Now that you're on the back end, like now that you're done with, the NFL, have you had any conversations with folks from Philly about that moment at all? Have you been able to talk to anybody involved in that?
Nothing more than trolling people on Instagram and Twitter. Well, I don't mind it, but it's fun. But Philly, those fans are freaking crazy. That makes you kind of want to act crazy. Like, bro, I am a person. Don't talk to me like I'm some little punk. Like, bro.
So, Van, you have this career in Washington, but you also go through your trials and tribulations. So I have to ask you, Chris, do you feel you were able to leave it all on the field, or do you feel like you still have some more to give to the game? Because you said it before your stroke. You were even contemplating, do I make a comeback? Where are you at now with that?
Yeah, I'm completely good with my career. I wish I could have done things better, or I wish I could have had that dominant person at my position that I could really learn from. I never had for instance, when I went to Tampa Bay, it was Gerald McCoy. Gerald McCoy was all pro. He'd probably be a Hall of Famer, but he had a hell of a work ethic. Something that I've never been able to see in my life. For someone to I've never seen someone work as hard as Gerald McCoy in my life. And this is at the end of his career. So I can only imagine if I had someone like that to look up to and model, I don't know how my career may have ended up. I was just good off natural. I worked hard. I worked hard enough to be in shape, but I didn't do more than enough. You know what I mean? And you look at players who are really on the cups of greatness, or is great, depending on who you talk to. You're great in his own way. I like Gerald McCoy, but he has a work ethic that I've never seen in my life. But if I was able to see that and was like, yo, this is how I'm supposed to prepare for the upcoming season and every single day, my career could have been way different. I had a good career, but I could have had a great career if I actually worked the way Hall of Famers work, if that makes sense.
No, for sure. It definitely does, man. And when you think about those advices that you got from maybe a Gerald McCoy or other guys, or even while you were here, what is the advice that sticks out to you that you would share? Because you look at our defensive line right now, it's a lot of young guys. We got a guy in Johnny Newton, very, very young, dealt with some injuries early, now starting to get that opportunity that you talked about, man. What was that advice you would share to these young guys that you got during your time?
Just enjoy the moment, cherish the moment, and leave it all on the line. You don't know when your last snap is going to happen, when your last year is going to be your last year. So just lay it all on the line. When you're done, don't have any regrets that say, I wish I could have, I wish I did this down the third. Just give it all you got. Because like the NFL stands for not for long. So you could be in there for 2 years, 3 years, it could be 8, 9. You just never know. You just pray and hope for the best.
And now you get to watch the burgundy and gold kind of rejuvenate this fan base, rejuvenate the city. There's hope again. There's great things happening, man. When you watch this team, and what do you see on the field that makes you happy about the future of the Washington Commanders?
I'm just happy we win and I get to talk stuff to my Cowboy fans, but now I can't talk after this weekend.
Yeah, you got to kind of pause for a little bit now.
But I'm just happy I get to finally talk junk and can hold myself in a good conversation and say, hey, we nice. It feels good. We haven't really been able to say that since the Kirk Cousins and RG3 days, but that energy is back in the city and it feels good. I can't really explain to people. We had just won the division and made it to the playoffs, and our whole parking lot after the game was packed with fans from Ashburn. Standing room, it was like we just won the Super Bowl, and all we did was made it to the playoffs. So if we actually start winning, the way that Ashburn or Virginia, Maryland, DC, the way they're gonna get behind this team is gonna be crazy. I can't imagine. Because if we really start winning, I can only imagine how crazy it'll be. We made it to the playoffs. We just made it to the playoffs. We didn't win a game or nothing. We just made it. And it was like we just won the Super Bowl. But that's what this town has been waiting for. Now they got the juice. So it's back.
And that's a testament to this fan base, man. That shows what this fan base is willing to do for their Commanders. And you've been to a couple different teams. Have you ever seen a fan base like what Washington has here?
Out of the teams that I've played for, the closest thing that I would say would probably be the Denver Broncos. They have a really good fan base. But I wasn't there long enough to really like feel the love. But in Washington, I love it. But I was there for a while to really feel the love. But Denver is a great football town. I love it out there.
And you mentioned earlier you're out in Connecticut, but you come back here a lot. What do you get when you come back out here? When you come back to Northwest Stadium, when you're around these fans, man, what is that reception like for you?
Bro, I get love, man, and I love it, bro. I literally started conversation with anybody just so they could talk football because I just love being around people who love football. And just to be accepted no matter anywhere I go, everyone always has something great to say, and they're willing to take a picture. I'm willing to sign autographs. Like, when I was younger, my role model was Marcus Camby, and he's from Hartford. He used to always come around with his NBA friends. I remember being a little kid and asking for an autograph, and he always signed whatever I wanted, gave us sneakers and everything. So I always told myself, if I ever become famous or a famous NBA player or NFL player, if someone asks me for an autograph, I'm always going to give it to them. And I kept that promise. For the most part, if you ask for a picture or autograph, I'm going to give it to you. And I'm going to have a conversation with you. That's just how I am. I like the love because, football has kind of been boring since you stopped playing football. So now that someone's actually interested in you and know who you are, great. Let's talk football all day.
So, Chris, man, now that you've gone through what you went through in 2023, now you're here, man. Tell us what you've been doing. What is Chris Baker up to these days, man?
I'm just getting my life back together and just getting healthy one day at a time and really trying to get my focus back on my foundation because that's kind of my purpose. Now that football is over, I can really dive into my foundation and really help kids and this next generation become better than what I've been. Because my whole thing is, how great could I have been if I had someone like me in my life? And now I make myself accessible to all the kids from my neighborhood, from my high school. I want to have these talks with them, and I make myself available to them so they'll understand what I went through in college, how I made it as a pro, what it actually takes to outside of football and workouts and all that. I want to be a mentor to young men. And I feel like that's my purpose. So with my foundation, that's why I'm trying to really get my foundation back running so I could be purposeful to young men.
What's the name of your foundation?
Chris Baker 92 Foundation.
Chris Baker 92 Foundation. Commanders fans, y'all make sure y'all support and show love any way Chris needs it. Chris, how can fans help and support you through this part of your journey?
Man, just show up and support anytime I have some type of events or things like for instance, I'm going to get everything back organized and stuff, but I got to come down for Santana 89 ways. I want to have my presence like that in D.C. and in Connecticut. But yeah, so once I start having my events, show some support. Go ahead and swaggy about $1 million in foundation money.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's how I wanted to end the interview, man. I saw the nickname Swaggy. Where does that come from, man? How did you get that nickname?
I had a good friend named John Walker, and we happened to be playing PlayStation one night, and we was rapping and having freestyle battles, and he kept saying, swaggy this, swaggy that. And it was so funny to me at the time. So I go to the locker room, and I start saying, I start calling myself Swaggy. And next thing you know, a reporter, I had a good game in the preseason, and the reporter said, the name of the article was like Chris Swaggy Baker, and from there it just stuck. That's
hard, man. That's pretty tough, man.
Everybody be like, yo, how they gonna call you Swaggy and you ain't got no swag? I'm like, well, I got enough swag.
About to say that jacket tough. I'm seeing all the swagger with that jacket.
Yeah, I'm not a fashionable guy for the most part. You're gonna see me in a white tee and a chain, but that's what I like. I'm not really I don't get into all that fashion stuff. I like to be comfortable.
When you got real swag, you don't got to do all the extras, man. When you got real swag, you come as you are, man. So I appreciate that, Chris. And Chris, please, man, when you do get your foundation up and you start doing things out here, man, come back on the show. Holla at me, man. You have my information, bro. Please, any way that I can help, please let me know, man, because this has become my community as well. And I just love when you guys come back because I know what it means to this fan base and what it means to just everybody to have you guys around, Chris. So thank you so much, man. Thank you for opening up with us, man. I'm so glad to talk to you, brother. I'm glad you're healthy and doing good, man. And again, just remember, bro, no matter what you go through in this life, it doesn't change the things you have accomplished, all of the great things you do, all the people you've inspired already, and all the people that love and care about you, Chris, man. Thank you so much for your time, brother.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir, Commanders family. This is our next man up, Washington legend, Chris Baker. Chris, bro, it's always good, brother.
Yes, sir.
Commanders family, we hope you've enjoyed this episode of Next Man Up. If you want to do something during your bye week because you're missing the Commanders so much, we got something for you. Check out the most recent episodes of Next Man Up. They're all on the Commanders YouTube page, or you can stream the audio wherever you get your podcast. Until next Friday, Commanders family, I'm Brian Colbert Jr., and this is Next Man Up.